best bites forever.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Best Bites Forever. Today I'm making one of my very favorite fall desserts. I'm making pumpkin bread pudding with a sherry cream sauce. I know you're going to love it. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so now, and let's rock it out. I am starting off here by cutting up my French bread. So the easiest way that I have found to do this is to first cut it in half and then into the planks and then into rows, kind of like big giant bready French fries. Yum, who doesn't want that? Then turn it the other way and cut it into a dice, kind of like you would dice anything. Just a little side note here, I am using a serrated blade that looks like this. That is a bread knife, and the size of the cubes that I'm looking for are like this-ish. Of course, they're not all going to be perfect because a loaf isn't square. I'm going to go ahead and put these over to the side as I measure them. So I want 10 cups measured pretty loosely, and they are not going back into this baggie that I grabbed, but they are going into this bowl right here. So 10 loosely measured cups. See how I'm doing it? Not an exact science, but there it goes over to the side, and here are my beautiful little breads. Next, I'm going to go ahead and work on my topping. For that, I'm using a half of a cup of brown sugar along with 1 cup of pecans and a 1/4 cup of butter. I happen to actually be making this last year while I'm recording for Thanksgiving when you could still buy gloves. But if you can't get gloves, you obviously don't need to wear them. If you can, they are really helpful in keeping your butter nice and cool so that the texture stays how we want it to once we make it into a topping. And of course, they keep your hands nice and clean. Go ahead and mix that together and set it to the side. In this bowl, I have 5 eggs, and I'm going to add a total of 2 cups of liquid. Now, my original recipe when I did this years ago was 2 cups of half and half. However, today I happen to be out of half and half, so I decided to go with a combination of milk and coffee creamer, which is vanilla flavored. And you know what else would be really yummy? Caramel flavored creamer. That is going to be going in next year for me. Right here I have also added in 1 cup of brown sugar, and then I have added in 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice mix. I'm also going to leave a handy little spice blend down below for you if you don't happen to have pumpkin spice mix, and I'll leave a link to my pumpkin spice mix. The next thing I added in is a 15-ounce can of pumpkin, and don't worry guys, because I will be putting all of these measurements in the description down below. Just click on that little down arrow thingy. The next thing that I added in was my vanilla, and that was 1½ teaspoons. I'm going to go ahead and add my bread cubes on top of that. You can also opt to pour the liquid on top of your bread. No big deal. I'm also adding in some pepitas. These are like the little pumpkin seeds, but they are shelled and they grow that way naturally. I put in about a half of a cup, and I'm also adding in some raisins. I recommend golden raisins, and I happen to be able to get my hands on these beautiful jumbo flame raisins, which they sold at Sprouts, and they are delicious. Those are going in about a half of a cup again, and then I just want to mix this together really nicely. Make sure that you're doing this soft. You don't want to tear up your bread, so basically I am stirring from the bottom and gently folding it over. And here I have my 9 by 13 baking dish. I usually use this right here, which is a half pan, but it's a lot prettier to use a glass dish, so I went ahead and buttered that up really nicely. And now I'm ready to add in that yummy bread pudding. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there, making sure to scrape my bowl with my spatula, and then I want to flatten it out as much as possible before I put that gorgeous topping that we made right on top. So a nice flatbread pudding. Here goes my topping on top, and just go ahead and spread that around as evenly as you can get it. Let this set for 20 minutes and then put it into the oven at 350 until it's done about 30 minutes. During the last 5 minutes of baking, I am going to make this gorgeous sherry cream sauce. In my pan, I have a half of a cup of butter along with 1 cup of sugar, and you're going to want to stir that as your butter is melting to bring it together really nicely. The next thing that I'm adding in is 1/3 of a cup of sherry, and this is going to get angry when we put it in. That's what it's going to sound like, and make sure that you are really careful because it will spatter. You can see it kind of jumping around in there. Now here I usually let this reduce for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I add in a quarter cup of half and half or cream. Unfortunately today I am out, but guess what? It is really delicious anyway. When you pull that bread pudding out of the oven, go ahead and do your best to evenly spread that gorgeous sauce right on top and serve it warm. This is delicious just as it is, but if you really want to get decadent and push it over the top, go ahead and add some vanilla ice cream or pumpkin spice ice cream. Yum! And this is what it is going to look like when it is all finished. Hey, if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and do so now. And if you are a subscriber, it's because you're freaking awesome. Thank you so much for being here today and for watching, and happy cooking, everyone.
BestBitesForever.com